I will call the meeting to order at 5:03 p.m. Any adjustments to the agenda? I have just a kind of a few updates, but I can kind of put that under like miscellaneous at the end.
Nope.
You're good, Beth?
Yeah.
Okay. Public comment. No one else is on the Zoom?
Public here.
Okay.
We're the public, but
Yeah.
we're the public.
How are you feeling today?
Great, yeah.
Yeah, it might be a short meeting, especially if we don't have OSA here to kind of give us, some on the ground,
I can
so.
definitely talk about the motel thing,
Okay.
just from the perspective of, I don't know,
Yep, yep.
but I'm not there yet.
So approval of minutes from the previous meeting, I would entertain a motion to approve the June
June 18th minutes.
18th minutes.
So moved.
Okay, it's moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in
Moved in
favor?
second.
Oh, no.
Any discussion or changes to the agenda?
No, it looked good to me.
Okay, I'll say aye to approve. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. So moving into the agenda items, warming and cooling shelters or places. I know Salvation Army,
Yeah.
right, is running, I think it's like what, Monday through Thursday or something like
I
that?
believe that's what the email said.
Yeah, yeah. I know at the clinic, we've been, the Restore connected up, gave us just a whole bunch of empty water bottles, and we've just been filling those out and handing them
Oh,
out
that's
to
great.
That's
people.
fantastic.
Yeah, the resource, I mean, we had like bins and bins of, and Stephanie from my team took them home, put them in their dishwasher, and
So
then
they're all
brought them.
sanitized.
They're all sanitized and brought them, and we're just filling them up, especially for the couple that's sleeping in front of Good Shepherd, right now, so they don't really have very much full sun all day, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But anything else about
No, I
cooling
think
shelters?
we've done some of the filling of water for guests who had to leave on July 1. They've
Oh, yeah,
come back and I mean, it's tap water. It's not, we don't have, but we're filling some water jugs for them and just trying to be as helpful as we can.
yeah. And I think like today and tomorrow were the
Worse.
worst, yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Motels vacating and what's happening? That be you, Kathy? now?
Well, it happened.
Yeah.
And we went from 30 guest rooms occupied to 10. We're up
Mhm.
at 11 now, but in the course of like a few days, in the course of about a week, we
Yeah.
went from week and a half, because we had some folks that ended up running out of days that last week in June before July 1. But we went down drastically. We had folks exiting to unsheltered homelessness. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, guys.
We had folks who were disabled and exiting to unsheltered homelessness, a couple of which we've been able to at least have a little bit of interaction with since then, who are not doing well.
Mhm.
Folks sleeping under porches and, things like that. And in a couple of cases, these were pretty significantly disabled folks.
Yeah.
And then some folks we've lost follow-up, kind of like we're not really sure where they are. Families with young kiddos trying to find a place to camp that they are able to camp.
I think Tess is walking up and she's got some people with her.
Okay.
Looks like Sonia and somebody I don't recognize.
Huh.
Hi, we started without you. OSA is on their way,
Oh,
and
good.
so is Barre.
I knew Burn Rose was gonna come by.
Yeah,
Howdy.
So we are trying to get ourselves towards this side of the tables as much as
So
we
we
can,
could be-
because we do not have, the owl tonight, so we're just trying to get as many people as we can into the frame.
oh. My dress looks kind of nice,
It does look cool, yeah.
much brighter than it does in your person.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, John.
And
Hi, Jeremy, nice to meet you.
Jeremy, what is your last name?
Anderson.
Anderson.
I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I met Jeremy at the forum on Monday night. Expressed
Yeah.
interest in the work that we're doing for homelessness and housing, so I said, oh, come.
Well, we did, skip over the public comment period, because we didn't have any public at the time, but if there's anything you'd like to say for the record, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself or anything?
Sure. I'm a teacher up at Choice Academy. I teach English in the high school. Lived in Barre on and off all my life, but have just had a lot going on and not necessarily understood the importance of community for a long time.
Yeah.
Growing up and understanding,
Yeah.
the importance and wanting to get involved. I've had some kids come in and out through either homelessness or a bunch of stuff that feels like I should be more involved.
Oh, great,
Great, thanks for being.
thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Brooke.
And it's not Anderson with an O or an E.
Oh, at the end?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wondering with that, if we should just do a quick round of who's
Yeah,
who. Since
good idea.
not everybody knows each other, that might be helpful.
Okay, yeah.
Suggestion, anyone? for that?
That's a good idea. Like I said, you want to start us off?
Sure, it's like,
Get it over with, catch your breath.
yeah, that's an understatement too. Geez, sorry. I am Osa Bush. I do street outreach, health and safety, and community health working with Good Samaritan Haven, Shelter, Washington County. I'm also on this, the House Community Committee for Barre. I'm also a Barre City resident. I don't know.
That's plenty.
Thank you.
Karen, would you like to introduce yourself for the record?
Hi, sure, I'm Bern Rose and I live in Barre, and I don't know, I've been starting to check out all the work OSA's doing. So I thought I'd come.
I'm Dan Arlo, live here in Barre City for 12 years now. I'm the director of the People's Health and Wellness Clinic, the free healthcare clinic for the county, and I'm the vice chair of this committee, chairing the meeting tonight because our chair couldn't be here.
Hi, I'm Tess Taylor and I'm the homelessness and housing liaison for the city of Barre, also working on flood resiliency. I have been in Barre for since 2001, and I am an adjunct to this committee as an employee of the.
Beth Mueller, Barre City resident.
Kathy Partlow, Director of Homeless Services here at Down Street, and I do not live in Barre City, but I work here, and I am, sorry, I'm in the minority now. But I do work here, and I am managing the Speranza Inn, which is the former Quality Inn.
I'm Sonia Spalding. I'm a city councilor from Ward 1, and I am your newly appointed council liaison to the council.
Hey, I forgot about that. Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Okay, Brooke.
Hi everyone, Brooke Pouliot, Community Outreach Specialist for Barre City Police Department. And Kathy, I'm with you that I do not live in the city of Barre, but I have worked in Barre now for, it'll be 10 years in September. So thanks guys, it's good seeing you all.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Thanks, Brooke. Bern, we did the public comment period earlier, when there was no public here. Is there anything you wanted to add for the record?
I just I haven't been following the meetings.
Yep.
And when I am asking OSA questions about what do you need or what's happening, or I go, how can one person do all that?
Yes.
And I'm here because I don't want just the city, but I want our state to do more and to pay attention to the people that we see living out rough and in the parks and don't have housing. And I think it's a moral imperative that we behave differently. Well, that's it in a nutshell.
Thanks, Bern. And we were talking about the cooling shelters, and we had mentioned, we know Salvation Army is open, I think, 4 days a week or something like that, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
from 9:30 to 2:30
9:30,
with
okay.
snacks and drinks.
Great.
Usually water, but they sometimes have other areas or something.
Yeah, we've been handing out water at the clinic. The Restore just gave us bins of empty water bottles. And we've washed them and we've just been handing them out to folks. Pretty much all week long. So any,
Very nice.
yeah, anything else people want to add or anything else they know about?
The library, but it's, we
Yeah.
all know that,
The
right? But-
library, yep.
Yeah, so as far as feeding goes now, let's see, Mondays, we have breakfast at the Good Shepherd Church. It's full breakfast and that's from 8 to 9:30, right?
Mhm.
Yes, 8 to 9:30. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have lunch at Enough Ministries.
Mm.
Wednesdays, we have lunch at Good Shepherd. Fridays, it's dinner at Heading. That's what I know.
Is there a one sheeter that outlines all of that for feeding in the area? I feel like that would be great to have at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
It's
or
on-
post around.
It's on that Washington County
Yeah.
Survivors Guide.
But I think I will print some
Just
up.
figured I could do
That'd be great, yeah.
You wanna do it, because I was gonna have to do it
Right,
too.
for you all to
Absolutely,
post it up
Yeah.
so that we can, you know, for folks even who are at the end who are really food
Yeah.
insecure, they might take advantage, they will likely take advantage of some of that.
Yeah.
And there's, one of the other churches is talking about adding, Saturday mornings, but they don't feel they can do that until the summer's over because. They're up against a lot of them.
And
Go
the,
out of town.
the churches in Montpelier do lunch. And it's at, they think they have them all at one place, so whoever makes it brings it there. And on Tuesdays and Friday mornings, the UU church makes a breakfast and they box it up and they bring it over to the around 8 o'clock-ish, over to the Enough Ministries pantry. And that's gone like in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that Enough Ministries has talked about revisiting. You know, this is a pandemic holdover.
Mhm.
And so I think they're revisiting the way that happens because
I mean, that's just, yeah. what
Yeah,
Happens
no,
now.
yeah,
That's
right
what's
now,
happening
that's what it is. You know, but I just thought I'd bring it up because this is what this kid is. You know, I think that they bring a lot, the Unitarian Church brings a lot over there. But it goes away because it's, you know, on a shelf to be taken away, and I think they're thinking about. Moving inside.
Hmm.
And seeing if, and maybe they'll be doing some more cooking, I don't know, but I know that that they're working with Earl and maybe some others about. You know, just maybe. What might be better, because that really was good for the pandemic, but. We're away from.
And because I brought that up when you said that about the
Yeah.
having it in-house. But they don't have enough people, it's a very small congregation.
Mhm.
And so the Universalist Church doesn't have a large number of people to draw from, and so once they make the breakfast. They clean up and then they're gone, and the kind of thing which you were doing before that, when we used to have the community breakfast. I think it was like from 7 to 9. And then when it was cold, people made it be a warming station until noon or something else opened up, and they just don't have people to populate that kind of service. So if we want to do something like that, we have to consider who's going to populate it and be the service people.
Yeah.
That's one reason they've held on to that, because it's what they can do. right
Understood.
now.
Completely understand it, and it's been amazing. They do.
Anything else about cooling shelters or food availability?
Some people in the community, went out to, I don't know where this is, I think they said the Taylor camp, and then some other camp that they knew about, and they brought, cold water, popsicles, icicles, ice cream bars, whatever, some different kinds of good snacks, and, I'm not sure what else, but they did that one evening, and they just went out and handed all that out, and that was something they did on their own, because they found out, I guess, where to take it.
Yep, yep.
So, I think even the park people, one night, there was a meeting and they had lots of pizza left over, and I brought it there, and some people were really, really glad to have it, and some people weren't, and the rest went to the packaged and put in the Enough Ministries thing, but those are just hit or miss things,
Yeah.
but when we see stuff, we can reach out, we put bottles of water in our cars and or water bottles, and so it's just hard to know what to do.
That's fair.
Yeah.
On the note of going to campsites.
Thank you, Osa.
Yes.
While I love that someone did that, folks are always welcome to reach out to Street Outreach. We would prefer that folks not go to campsites. As it's like walking into someone's house. And some folks are okay with that, others are less okay with that, and you really never know what you're gonna be walking into. So please just,
I
Be careful.
have already shared that.
I appreciate it.
Back with them,
Yeah.
I don't know how they figured out where to
No,
bring stuff, I
no
don't know.
criticism, no
Yeah.
criticizing, just
Yeah.
Yeah,
blanketing it.
So it sounds like if someone wants to do something like this, they should contact you, right? And you can help facilitate, and perhaps, I imagine, would you be going out with them too, depending on, the camp and who you know and stuff, right?
Yeah, I would probably be checking directly in with those at the site.
Yeah.
And see if they even want outsiders at
Yep.
their location.
And if
Folks,
people don't know how to get a hold of you, they can also get a hold of me, and I would just.
Perfect.
That's-
get a hold
yeah,
of you.
absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
It might be a better route.
I also have a new number that I'm trying to use for everything, which is 802-613. 4494.
4494.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's accessible for everybody. I screen all phone calls, please leave a message. don't answer.
But this, when you say it can go out to anybody, like we could give it to other people.
You can give it to agency, you can give it to anyone on the street, you can give it to fire, police, literally everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
How do I spell your name?
OSA,
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
and you text really well.
thank you. Yeah, I prefer to
It's text, yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Age thing, probably.
Good.
Yeah.
Next item is item B, the motel vacating. Anyone have an update on that? You already shared what?
I
Yeah.
already shared
Yeah.
it with some of mine, so. Happy to reshare if people didn't hear, but I think most of you.
Yeah.
We just had, it's the same, it's similar to what you're seeing, which is we had a number of pretty significantly disabled folks, both cognitively and physically, needing to exit between the third week in June and the first week in July. And they were exiting to complete unsheltered homelessness. And then we had one who was pretty significantly disabled, but was able to have a car that they could be in, so at least there's some shelter to that. Also was not ideal, but maybe better than not having that at least. And families with older children as well, but real young children, being exited, and more to come in the next few weeks. In terms of folks sort of maxing out on their days and having to exit in this extreme heat, which is not good.
Where are they going?
Some folks exited to trying to tent if they were able to do that. Some, that we had at least one, household who tenting would not be an option, so I frankly don't know where they are right now or what happened. And to completely unsheltered, trying to find, you know, the proverbial bridge or some sort of thing to be under, or inside, until they get told they can't be wherever that happens to be. Which is very hard. I am a human service professional and have been for 35 years, and we are built on a system of you know, like the state has vouchers, and that's how we have to operate. So when those vouchers end and there's no place for folks to be, they do still have to go, and it feels horrible to be in that position, but we unfortunately are. We're part of the system. As much as we want to have more flexibility, it's what keeps the lights on for the rest of the folks who are there, and we have to operate within those parameters.
No judgment, just,
Yeah, it's
you
so
know,
hard. It's a
asking-
really hard thing. It's a hard thing for folks to go through, for sure, and for the, you know, OSA who's seeing it every day, and for other staff who are, or church members who are, you know, like all of us who are seeing it every day. It's really hard to witness over and over again.
Sonia, do you think it would be of any value for us to kind of collect data from the Barre area about the numbers and present that to city council?
Yes, absolutely. And I also, I'm working with Beth Hilgartner. She has a neighborly Barre initiative, which is, presented it to council sort of as a complement to the new ordinance about, you know, trespass and, no trespass. And Tess had made the suggestion actually at that meeting that we get an inventory. So actually today we met with Heather at Rainbow Bridge, and the more that we talk to people, the more we realize that it would be really helpful to get everybody in the same room at some point to have a conversation about who does what, how do they do it, what can we all do collectively together instead of just all individually, like this committee, Capstone, Down Street, the city council, like how can we start working collaboratively instead of in our separate silos?
Yeah, and we've been doing that now
Oh,
for about a
okay.
year.
Perfect.
And it just seems to me there's always new people that we could invite to the table, but I pull people together about once every other month.
Okay.
In the library, and it's service organizations and our faith community.
And
And it's been really good because the service organizations and the care providers get to really know what you know, the churches are doing, and the churches get a better understanding of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we've come out with a few things that from that you know, I think they've been very good putting together first aid kits for OSA to distribute. Kind of refining what was going on with the portalets. Actually, first meetings were really about reconstituting this group and working on the warming center for the winter and shaping and putting that together. So that work is being done, but there could be more representation from different places.
Yeah.
You know.
just having conversation, I mean, I don't know if you, if part of that is one of the things I brought up today when I was talking to Heather was the schools, they're also involved. They're dealing with every day
But they-
different.
You know, and I have, Dawn Poitras has been, she came to a couple of, but it's hard for her because I do this at noon.
Yeah.
And, you know, it does cut the schools out, and which is unfortunate unless a school board member could come as proxy.
Yeah.
That, but and we chose to do it this way because, and actually Brooke and I and Kristen, I shouldn't say, it's not just me, it's, we've been putting this together because of our, different hats that we have. Kristen, Bauman from the Aldrich Library. And, so it's been really fruitful and, 30 to 40 people show up.
Great.
And, I present to Nicholas, some of the, some of the things that come out of it, but.
Yeah, I would like to, I mean, I would love to join that if I may, just so I can also bring that information back to the
That would
council. And the other thing that I really, because we all have our day jobs and then we have this. And then the thing that I would love to be able to do is how, try to identify what are the things that, like, to try to be more proactive instead of like, okay, now we need to find a warm shelter. Okay, now we need to find a cooling shelter.
Yes.
Like, how can we be more proactive in finding and identifying what people in our community need before they need it?
Right.
And not, I'm not even talking, I mean, obviously housing, but yes, like
Yep.
on a more very
Understood.
basic level.
Understood, and I have invited some people from our homeless community to attend, but it's always that's when we come right up to the point, it's not always easy for people to feel that comfortable.
Yeah.
So I keep working on it.
Well, I'll share this with you, because I just had this conversation with Heather, and Heather was, I'm not sure if they were ever unhoused or just underhoused, but talked about it was, very traumatic for them and how it may be difficult for someone who's actually unhoused right now to be able to participate in that way, but someone who has experienced it might be a better option to come in and join our
Well, there are
group.
people, there are definitely
So-
people there that,
Oh,
Yeah.
we do that show of hands.
Perfect,
and,
okay.
So,
Because it's someone who has experience in
Yeah.
sitting at the tables.
yeah, I've got a couple veterans that I've been asking, just inviting if they wanna come.
Yeah.
And so those are all good, thoughts, and yeah, I would love to see the schools. As a matter of fact, I was gonna talk to Brooke and Kristen about like maybe folding in the service clubs now that we're kind of got it. But another thing that we do off, what I started, is, because it was my idea to, is to do some trainings. And there's some really good webinar stuff. So like we did our last meeting, we did an hour early. And for anybody, it's because the provider community, has a lot of this information, but it was for the lay people, for lack of a better word, to learn about, it was a really good little webinar, just it was kind of like substance abuse 101. It was
I
pretty
walked in
good.
towards the end of that one.
Yeah,
That was
and
good, yeah.
And it was pretty good, and it was like, so it was great because people have experienced this for a while and being in the, working with people and, attending the shelter or doing some of the meals and stuff. And I do, and I have some of my volunteers will come and say like, why is she doing this? Or, why do they look, just like, and it's really an innocent and a good question, right? So now that they've experienced for a while, and then they got to take this webinar, it was really great feedback afterwards, or conversation afterwards to talk about how, well, now I get it because I see it, and this explains what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And it was pretty powerful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But to also back to your question, Beth.
Yeah,
I
I was
think
more,
like data.
and specifically about what's just happened with everybody getting
Yeah.
unhoused.
Yeah.
And how it's playing out on the street. Cause I feel like, as long as people kind of don't see it, they're okay with it. But we do see it, and it's not okay.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, maybe if we could like crack the door open a little bit and start communicating this to city council or state government or
Yeah.
anybody that'll listen, then maybe policies could change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just,
I mean, I'm not sure what policies will be able to change in Berry City, but I'm all on board.
yeah,
And what we could do, I mean, I know when Sam, right before Sam left, I think he presented, the Unhoused committee presented to the city council, and Sam made the recommendation, you know, do we need to build platforms for tents? Do we need to?
it's a beautiful opening to a conversation there.
Right, and that has all.
Yeah.
Just, so how do we continue, and maybe that's just, and I'll be happy to keep bringing it up and asking for it, but if you have data and we can share that. From this committee, that would be really helpful, and let's be really concrete about what we're asking for.
Mhm.
I think coming in and giving data is really great, but if you wanna say we need some tent platforms, we need a safe place for families to stay who have been exited from the program.
We need
Whatever it may be.
places for people to
We
have
need-
refrigeration for medication.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, so I think let's have that conversation. I follow a friend, I don't know if you guys know, Chris Povick, who lives in a van out west.
Mhm.
She used to live here.
I used to see her face when I
Yeah, I
was
know
more
Chris
Facebook.
too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she has a blog and Substack, and she talks about, that exact thing, like she has no place to store things, she would love to be able to make money, like when she goes into a town, she would love to be able to like store her belongings somewhere in a safe, secure place, like a
Mhm.
locker, and then work for the day for cash. Well, like, is that possible? Where could we do that kind of thing? And so I just think about how we as a city might be able to provide some more,
Mhm.
equipment, opportunities, and I think about how I could try to help facilitate that.
So you can talk about what the committee, yeah,
Well,
as you can talk about some of the things that the committee has talked about along those lines.
Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit about camping platforms essentially, and
Yeah.
like, I think from our research, we found that. Of course, it's much more complicated, you know, once you get into the details.
Yeah.
And that places where this has been successful, you need you know, the municipality to have a strong role. They usually team up with a local nonprofit, and you really need like a level of organization there. Otherwise, these sites like become unsafe for families or you know, families with children, especially vulnerable adults.
Mhm.
And that they're also most successful when it's not just, you know, a tenting platform, but you need running water, a dumpster, access to bathrooms, you know. So this is something I think we're all really interested in moving forward. We're just kind of moving very cautiously right now to make sure we have all the answers that we know will come, questions that will come,
Yeah.
have answers for that. And so I've reached out to some municipalities that they have had successful pilot projects, and I hope at our meeting next month, we might have a guest who will, you know, pop on Zoom and talk to us for a little bit about their experiences.
Cool.
So yeah, no, I would love to continue this conversation. I'm glad that the council, some people on the council seem to be thinking about this too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we will have a proposal. I'm just not sure what the timeline is right now, you know,
Okay.
so, yeah.
And then the other thing was the storage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Storage
yeah,
units.
yeah.
Jeez.
And that maybe I think would be easier than the storage units is a lower hanging fruit, I think, than a tenting platform. So, you
Yeah.
know, so, yeah.
They're expensive though.
Are they, I haven't
Yeah,
looked at the
Hannah,
prices yet.
Hannah looked into them. These two initiatives were brought to you by Hannah.
Okay,
She's been talking about them since late last year, the year before.
Yep.
She does a river cleanup.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And because of that, she's really gotten out there to see what kinds of stuff people aren't taking care of or throwing out, you know, old tents, old sleeping bags and stuff, and it's like, this is ridiculous. She said, we're buying these things and donating them over and over and over again because people have no place to take care of them.
Right.
Or what happens with
Right.
all their winter clothes when some, you know, and when we went out and did some cleanup stuff, we found tons of stuff like that people just abandoned because they don't have the capacity for keeping it. And then the person I was talking to who has a wagon and some other thing that carries all of their belongings in has a health issue where they fell asleep and had all their belongings stolen and their identity. And so that person's like, well, you know, I have to take everything with me. I don't have any place to leave anything. And And if people are tenting, that's one of the reasons for not just going into an encampment, is that I think the people that are in a place together and are getting along, look out for each other. And, but that whole issue of, if you have almost nothing and somebody steals it, you have less.
Mhm.
And so that's where I think she was looking at, I think Montpelier had lockers. And I think they were a big outlay and maybe gotten through a grant, but I think we should definitely, really start with some things here. I wanna know, don't we have any? I know this may seem awful, but do we not have an auditorium with the basement? I mean, we had people there in the winter. It's cooler. Why can't we open that up and utilize some of that? There are showers, or at least, this is me talking to the choir, at least have a couple of days a week, like every Tuesday and Friday, you can go up to the auditorium and you can get a shower. Those laundry, one of the churches does the bring your laundry. Well, if you don't have a car, how are you gonna bring all your laundry? Or if you don't have a safe place to store the rest of your belongings, how are you gonna go out and take a shower? Or clean your kids, or get medical attention because you had a tick. And so now you've got Lyme disease on top of everything else. So I just think that we have facilities, we just refuse to use them. If you refuse to find a way to make them usable. We have policies, or we have laws, or we have something when they're just sitting there, and we could be using them if we just found our way around what somebody told us we can't do.
Well, it's easy to say we can't.
It's
harder
easy to say,
we can.
yes, or I'll work with you to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
How can we work together and make this happen? It's a process. And it's not one that I hear people wanting to engage in. And I also hear people saying, well, we're here, the state dumped on us. Well, that is also true. So I think we need to have our representatives participate in these discussions, and our senators participate in these discussions, and bring it to the whole legislature, not as we want to fund motels or hotels, but look at our humanity. What are we doing with our humanity? And let's shake it up a little bit. And I'm just like, I don't have any energy.
Bert, did I mishear you, but did you say that Montpelier has lockers?
Yeah.
Oh, they do, okay, where are they?
The transit station.
Transit
Oh, okay,
No.
okay, the downstream transit.
Oh, not you were,
Is that the same
okay.
building
No,
that
that's
the-
not it, it's
That's not-
over, it's
Oh.
over on Barre Street.
Oh,
They're behind
They
the-
were.
Yeah, they're behind the old
Yeah.
rec center,
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
that has.
okay. Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And they're still operating?
As far as I know, you can get a code for the combination locks at City Hall, at least that's how it had
Okay.
been.
I didn't realize, okay, I'm gonna learn more about that.
We
I'll
did
report
that.
next month.
I believe there's.
Mid-COVID, maybe, something
Oh,
like
Yeah, I
that.
think
okay,
so.
Yes,
okay.
part of larger conversations we're all having.
Yeah.
They used her.
Maybe, I think that there were lockers that they were, if I recall, there were lockers they were able to repurpose, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
out of maybe the rec center or out of, a school reno or
Yeah.
something, they were able to repurpose some lockers.
Mhm. And these are outside the lockers?
Mhm.
Yep,
Do people use?
yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, good question, yeah.
because we can have them, but are people actually
People
using them?
actually using.
Like, and the only reason I ask that is because are people using them where you have to go to City Hall and get a code? Like, is that a barrier to accessing them? Is it?
Because then you also have to remember the code, and it's not like you're gonna keep the tiny piece of paper likely. And if it gets wet, it's stuck to whatever's in your wallet or whatever happens. They were lockers for a little while. But then losing keys, and that gets expensive.
Oh, okay,
and,
then, yeah.
that's-
Locks and.
But there's lots of different types of locks in the world,
Right, right.
so I'm
Right.
sure we can make it more accessible.
And how big, like, are they like, I just picture the lockers from like high school or something, like, is that kind of where like the gym, is that the size we're
think that's
talking
the-
about?
I mean,
Okay.
they're not long, they're large enough that you can shove a backpack or a backpack in a medium to small size sleeping bag in there, you put like a 1-person tent.
It's like
maybe.
the one in the bus depots,
Oh, got it, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes
you
sense,
know,
yeah.
there, or the
Yeah,
airports,
they're
the
about-
places that have, used to have walkers.
14 to 16 by like
Yeah.
by like 14.
So a bag and a few personal items, you
Yeah.
know, is basically that.
They're a safe place for your wallet, for
Yeah.
your identity cards, for
Yeah.
all those kinds of things that
Yeah.
people need
They're water.
just to be unhoused and
Yeah.
maneuver through
Yeah.
our culture.
So that brings up one of the things that, I've been pondering on lately is people losing their identity cards, their social security cards, you know, I know Earl has, you know, gone with people to Montpelier to get their identity cards and stuff. And I know Beth, you've been through that with, our friend Barry from years ago, just, you know, how hard it is to get that information so that, but it's so vital. And, I don't know, I've been thinking on it lately, like how to make a way so that, I don't know, have people help with this or, you know, because it's a big deal. We must see it.
Yeah, and we will help. We have case management on site and we will help, but we'll also hook people up with other case management that's longer term if it's available. So that, I mean, in my previous work at the family center, we used to say to folks, why don't we take a copy of that for you? It'll be in your file. It'll just live here. We're not gonna share it with anybody.
Yeah.
And that way, if you happen to lose it, we wouldn't keep their actual primary document, but if you happen to lose it, so much easier to get it again when you've got a copy. Yeah, and like that's even just figuring out a way for folks who don't really want to be connected with case management. If they could feel safe with somebody, at least keeping a copy of that kind of stuff, so important.
Would it be possible to have some kind of like, you take a picture of it, save it to the cloud, like it's just, like there's not
Cloud's
an
not
actual.
exactly secure either, though.
Yeah, that, yeah, I don't
It's
know
very
how many-
hackable depending on which one.
Well, I'm just thinking like somewhere where it's not, like you could access it from anywhere, you wouldn't have to, you know, like go and see something.
Saving it in your email or something.
Yeah. I wouldn't get the email, but so I think that's more helpful.
No, but that's probably what a lot of folks would access. It would be
Like,
email
go to the
versus
place where they.
having an office, a Microsoft Office cloud account or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
The thing that Byrne was talking about that Hannah mentioned, is something that Heather brought up when you were talking to them today. And, they said that the cost of, and you probably all already know this, but the cost of trying to rehome someone after they've been unhoused. You know, thinking about, yeah, what happens to all of the things that, you know, sleeping bags in the wintertime, and then where do those go? And then do we have a program where people can turn them back in and we can wash them and reuse them? Do we have, you do that?
No,
No.
this is me raising my hand. No, I'm waiting though until you're finished.
Well, no, I'm just
True.
saying like what, because yeah, we're all trying to help out, but if we just keep redoing it over and over again, that doesn't really make a lot of sense either. I'm done.
Cool. It's a good question. I'm glad that you're asking them because I don't think many people know the answers to it. At least from my point of view, that was what I was doing today and got extremely overheated doing. Was that someone came to a location, they were given a tent from Capstone. It was not a typical, you know, cross pieces dome tent. It was a old school type of tent.
Oh.
And, but old school design, new tent.
Okay.
And they were just like,
The kind you lose your fingers.
No.
Put together.
no,
Oh, no?
just lots of major poles and
Oh,
complex. And I just put one together the night before, otherwise I would not have understood it either.
Oh, good.
And they were just, I mean, like, it was the middle of the night, it was 3 AM. It was 3 AM when they were texting me and they were very upset and like had this item they couldn't use, so they left it. And other pieces of equipment that can all be washed and reused. That's a tent that hasn't been lived in. it's easier to repurpose something that hasn't been repurposed before or used and then left. For like, you know, bio reasons, like our
Yeah.
bodies have been in it.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's easier or harder to clean. Some things can be reused. The fastest thing that goes on a tent is the zipper. So not too many tents actually are reusable because of that.
Okay.
Mold becomes a pretty big factor in equipment. Which there are ways, I mean, if you lived in Barre or many other places that have flooded, you've dealt with mold. So there are ways to get through that, but it's a process and so we, as street outreach, I do some, but nowhere near as much as could be done. And it's a very labor intensive process that you also have to be like very careful if you're cleaning up a site. And that's not just like for the immediate thing that we immediately think of, which is like drug related generally. But like, you know, gloves and full body protection because you have no idea what's been there. So it's, you know, it's every process is a little bit different. This is just gonna get the hose and then sit on my line in my backyard in Barre City, so. Yeah. But, and it'll get reused if it has all the pieces. But yeah, there's a lot of camping gear that gets just left for the elements. It's hard to see it. I mean, like, I know because you're talking about someone that's had lived experience in these fields. I've had lived experience. I haven't had as anywhere near as long as most of the folks I worked with. But I understand it from a point of view that someone that hasn't lived it won't ever understand. And so I don't know what my point was before that. There's a lot of camping gear that gets left.
Mhm.
And it sounds like some of it can be reused, but some of it cannot.
Very much so. Garbage is like a hard thing for folks to deal with, and one of the things I would love to sometime get on our list of things to discuss. Because that's brutal.
I did talk to Nicholas about, you know, maybe. But it would have to be strategic about dumpsters, but the thing is, it is still is getting it from here to the dumpster, like where would you put the dumpster? You know, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, working out, it's like everything you bring up, it's, you know, just going through all of the things to, you know, all of the pieces and the steps that need to happen, and I wouldn't dare go near the city council with anything until I felt like, you know, myself, because yeah, I'm not this committee, but, well, I think we all know we wouldn't dream of doing it until we could really address things in a way that, yeah, so that questions can be answered so that, you know, it's full information.
A couple of years, Hannah.
It's better.
It's gonna know I was talking about her. From look, you know, doing the river access stuff. And she did reach out to OSA, but she saw how overwhelming it was right off and said, okay, I can't do all that. But one of the ideas she had was sort of an adopt a site. You know, if there were people in the community, say, hey, you know, I'll provide somebody with trash bags or a trash can or something. And once a week I'll go by when I'm going to the dump and I'll pick up their trash. You know, a simple thing. I mean, it may not be a simple thing to a person who's having it done because it's getting rid of trash that they can't carry, they can't haul out. But whatever, having just that Hannah talked about what you said about the sleeping bags and the tents getting really cruddy. Is like, well, maybe once a month, we can offer to go and clean out people's sleeping bags and we'll take them to the laundromat for them. And wash them and dry them and bring them back so that things don't get totally wasted. Or when somebody leaves a site, like you took that tent that was still usable. She says she has a pressure washer. You know, hanging stuff up and pressure washing them. And so maybe we could have, you know, some teams of people that would take turns doing it. And she said she would be willing to adopt a site, you know, if somebody was willing, somebody she could meet, that could meet her. So they felt comfortable or safe or whatever. And then she could go out to their place and bring them trash bags and maybe disposable or reusable dishes and bring them home once a week. And so it's, there are people I think that would feel really meaningful for and would be a really big service. It's just the coordinating, you know, how do you connect with people who don't have any stability or communication or, and one of it is like, all of these things put you in the middle of and that's a lot for one human being to do.
Okay, Barre, can I ask you a question? Just want to make sure I got this clear. So Hannah was proposing that possibly people from the community could go out to places where folks are camping because they're unhoused and gather up garbage or things that need to be cleaned.
They provide trash receptacle. And once a week, maybe stop by and pick up that trash. And then the other thing is people wanted help, like lugging your wet, dirty clothes to the laundromat is really hard. So maybe we have the soap bubbles, can't ever remember what it's called. Thank you, Laundry Love. We have Laundry Love, but if you can't bring your stuff to Laundry Love. So, you know, are you willing to be somebody who would just transport people and their gear or just their gear? Or maybe there's, you know, after a lot of rain, if you've been camping for any length of time and it's been raining a lot of days, even if your stuff is undercover, it's wet, it's humid and everything gets, and where do you hang it up if we just keep having rain? Or you're out in the woods or someplace, there's no clotheslines, or a place to wash and dry your sleeping bags or your sheets if you're putting sheets on pads and maybe moving away from stuff like sleeping bags. Maybe sleeping bags aren't the best solution for people. Maybe finding lots of kind of like blanket kind of things and sheets that can be more easily washed and laundered and then making sure that people have some kind of pads to put on there. So, you know, just rethinking of having gone to just the Northeast Kingdom and have it rain every day for 6 days of camping, I can appreciate some of that. But, you know, I was able to take a shower in between and to cook food for myself and to drive someplace and so.
Or a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah, if I wanted to go to a
wanted
restaurant,
to go.
I could have driven 40 miles and gone to one,
That's right.
You could have driven.
but I could have driven.
And you had money for gas.
I had money for
cards,
gas.
Gas cards are a big new.
So I just want to know, we have 4 minutes left for this meeting. But it sounds like a couple things. There seems to be interest around the lockers. So let's make sure that's on the agenda for next month. I'll reach out to Montpelier and see if I can learn more about how they did that and some best practices, and I can bring that back. Hopefully I'll have someone to zoom in and talk to us from probably the West Coast about camping platforms and camping, organized camping sites. But it also sounds like maybe there's some interest around this kind of like, you know, adopt the family, you know, and help them with the trash and the laundry side, like Vern said. So let's, you know, see if that's something. I feel like that's something if we had like a nonprofit or a church or something like that to kind of like, you know, take on the work, you know, that would be, you know, ideal. So.
The busy people are always busy,
I know.
but they always have time and they make more. We need to find the unbusy people and get them motivated to help their neighbors.
Well said.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to see any other kind of anything on the agenda that we didn't discuss or other business or anything? Okay.
Can I just quickly throw this out there? Is it doable to get the data on people that have been unhoused? Like,
No,
is it up? It's
not
Really?
entirely,
It's pretty
because,
easy.
I mean, you heard me say before, we have connections with the folks that left. And there
Yeah,
are
and
a
so
few
you-
who have come back and
Right,
a few that we can get in touch with. Just to sort of offer an ear, if
Right.
nothing else, 'cause we
Right.
don't have a lot. And you know, it's too hard for them too. Like, it's not like it's a non-motivated group of providers who want to continue to be connected. It's, you know, they're out trying to survive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so and they don't want to be found oftentimes.
Yeah.
Because where they're at needs to be a secret. It's safer that way.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about that. I mean, just numbers, so we can paint a picture
Well,
for.
the state provides numbers, but it's,
We know who's been exited.
you know,
Yeah.
we know
They
who's
do,
been
yeah,
exited,
yeah.
and the state provides numbers,
Okay.
so weekly.
People are
Yeah, I can send you that.
uninformed.
Okay.
I can send you the link to check it every week.
there's no
The
fault.
other thing that we could potentially do, which might really inform things here in Barre, is to gather from Good Samaritan, Capstone, and other folks. Like just how long their wait list is for someone to get into a shelter.
Yeah.
How long is your wait list for someone to get into an emergency scattered site at Capstone, or even into case management? Never mind the shelter piece. How long is it until you can get into case management,
That's
say at
a
Capstone?
great idea.
And so those things I
I could
think
do
are
that.
helpful, because it paints a picture for the level of support and the level of need in our area.
I can probably give you a list of how many folks I'm working on with, but I
That
don't,
would be.
but going through like, and
Very-
actually figuring out. I mean, so I do quarterly reports, which I'm late on for the last quarter. But that won't give you immediate knowledge of like who exited and who I'm working with. I can probably do a total up of, it won't be very specific. That takes so much more time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
think
can
as long as
probably
we can
do a
paint a
Washington
somewhat
County.
accurate, impactful picture.
I can tell you it's a lot more than I had last.
Great, so
before
I'll
that.
reach out to you later on.
Oh, so are you just, what, you're Washington, the
I'm
entire Washington
Washington, I'm
County?
all of Washington County.
All of Washington County?
Yeah.
And just you?
No,
Oh.
so Don Little also does street outreach with Good Samaritan Haven. I believe we have at least one other that somewhat does street outreach, but I'm not gonna name because we're renaming people's job descriptions right now, so I don't really know it 100%. I do a lot more of the like drive to location, check on many different locations and town wise. Dawn Little does a lot too. She doesn't have transportation right now, so she's doing a lot of public and providing.
Yeah, she does a lot of,
Right, I know.
on the
She
street.
does a lot of peer
Yeah.
support with
Yeah.
folks at the lunches and whatnot, which is what
Okay.
I can't cover right now, so.
Okay.
I do just want to reiterate though about street outreach, and I just happened because I'm on the board at Good Sam, so I get,
Yeah.
the state. Through their HOP funding process, which is how a lot of these services get funded. Is not funding street outreach.
Right.
And street outreach is really important, life preserving work. And the state, and you know, they have to make hard decisions too with the money they have, so I'm not, but I just wanna be clear that. That type of work, the work that OSA does and others, is being funded by fundraising. Right, by organizations doing fundraising so that type of life-saving work can happen, so. It's just, I just wanted to point that out, because I think it is important to know that, like, if towns, cities wanted to get involved in stuff that was actually preserving life, like that real boots on the ground, street outreach type stuff is, in my mind, a real way to go. Like, that is something that if
Absolutely.
you wanted to have more of anything, that stuff will help you.
It's just so, it's the connective tissue to all of us, you know, running the, warming center and, you know, seeing people come in or not seeing people for a while, whatever the case may be. OSA's my, you know, my number one connection for, should I worry, should I not worry, should I say, you know, should we be doing something, when I see this person, and, it's so important. And the thing is the funding in the state, it's like, you can't have it all ways. If you're not gonna, you're not gonna do the housing, at least do the outreach so that we know
Yeah.
where people are
Mhm.
and what's happening with them, and are they okay? It's-
I want to just say thank you for the work you've done at Equality in. I know somebody that's there. I don't know if they're still there, but I think they're still there. And I saw all the things they were going through up and down. Not knowing and knowing, but they said they had a case manager and that really helped that person and I bring that is the person I brought to my state representatives and said, hey, somebody's lived in Barre all their lives. And they're at the Quality Inn, they worked, their husband worked, they were in the granite industry. They had a healthcare issue, or something happened, somebody's mom died and they lost their housing and. Is this, and you can't see your way through helping them out with some funding or. You know, putting a face, if we have people, we have to name them, but if we can put a face on some of this and. Sadly, some people just say, well, that's too bad. Not my problem. Anyhow, I'll just be quiet because I'll get really pissed.
Okay, before we wrap up on next meeting, is it the second Wednesday? We
Third.
usually do? Third, so that'd be August 20th.
Yes.
Okay.
Be on my schedule.
Great. Okay, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
You're now.
Yes.
Nice try.
Okay, I motion to.
Okay. You can second, yeah, okay.
I second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Okay, we are adjourning at 6:05 p.m.
I even just did that.
Yeah. Back from your legislative.
Thanks, everyone.
committee.
That's right.
thanks, Brooke.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
I have
Nice
this-
I'm pretty sure it's twice you went.
Bye, Brooke.
Bye, brother.
leave?
It's just us now, but we're still,
Oh, she
so we
wasn't
should probably end this
I
before.
think, Kat, before we say.
The divisions in between, so like I'm in the high school and if it's someone downstairs, then there's a solid chance, I don't know.
What did you see you say about high school?